What's up, people? Multiplier here, and today it's episode number 6 of Ableton Basics, and it's all about automation. So it should be nice and easy because it's a nice simple thing to show. Right, so what's automation, you say? I've never heard of that word before. Doesn't mean anything. Well, it's a way of automating things as the track goes along. So the most classic example in the entire world is to kind of automate something like a low pass or a high pass filter kind of throughout a synth or something like that. So I'll show you how that works in Ableton Live. So let's drag out a vocal just because I can't be bothered to find a synth or anything like that. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Just drag it down so you can barely hear it. Let's say we got a EQA and let's turn it into a low pass filter. So we got this filter thing that we want to do this as the track goes on. We want it to go slowly up, say from here to here. Now, how do we do that? Now, what we want is basically this frequency thing to go up like that over a period of time. And how do we do that? Well, it's nice and easy once you've seen it done before. So you might need to click this arrow to kind of open up the track. Bear in mind we are in arrangement view. Click this arrow to open it up. And one thing you can do is, it might be on none, is choose EQ8 and then find the number of the thing we want from this big list. Now, I can't be bothered to find it from the list, so the way I do it is the nice easy way, which is no matter what it's set on, if you just simply click the thing you want to change, it finds it for you automatically. Now, isn't that nice? So how do we, now that we've seen that, how do we get that to change? Now, you can record it in, but to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of that because it normally involves you having to have a control surface plugged in. So I'm not going to show you that way. I'm going to show you the way that most people do it, and that's by simply drawing it in. So it's simply a case of drawing it. So you see you got this kind of, as you move this around, this kind of dotted line moves. Well, let's say we wanted to start here and go to like all the way up. So we start it here. Now we move our mouse over the top and we see this little dot appear. So click it, and now we've got like an anchor point and we can start our automation. So we simply click where you want it to end and then drag it up. Nice and simple. So now as the track goes along, we see that it's moving along. Not sure if you heard that because the fader's pulled quite low down, but you see what I mean? You see how we can use now this kind of pink line to kind of move parameters about. And it's very hard to make a track without doing some kind of automation. So you need to know how to do it. So nice and simple, just kind of click a dot, move it about. Now, is that all, I hear you say? Well, you can do a lot more stuff, and there's lots of ways to kind of draw these kind of pink lines. So I'm going to show you a few of them. So first of all, if you've got Ableton Live 9, you can do some quite cool stuff with it. So for example, you can make curves. So let's say we've got, look over here, you've got this kind of line, we want to make it curvy. Move the mouse just off the line so the whole line goes blue. Hold down the Option key on a Mac. I'm sure there's maybe Alt on Windows. And drag it about and we can see it goes all curvy. So that's quite cool. We can make curvy lines. And what else can you do? Well, if you kind of move your mouse just off the line and it goes blue and you don't hold the Option key, you can kind of move the whole chunk by itself. So you can see here, you can move the whole line, kind of keeping the line as it is. So that's quite cool. What else can you do? If you double click or single click even a point, it gets rid of it, and that can be quite useful. So let's say if we've done all this kind of stuff to duplicate this bit, but we want this whole line to kind of go back to the way it was, it's just a case of clicking on the points, and then that gets rid of the point. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you kind of learn all these little tricks, like, oh, here's another one, click and then hold shift, and then it kind of, each point eats up the other points. So there's lots of different ways to kind of create these curve shapes, and the more you do it, and the more you kind of get used to it, very quickly you'll be very, very quick at drawing these curves and getting them doing exactly what you want them to be doing. And oh yeah, I'll show another quick thing. If you highlight a whole section, you can kind of move the whole section about, or copy, paste. Granted that pasted the whole lot, but let's say we copied this, paste, so you can pretty much just have a play about with it. It's reasonably intuitive, especially once you've used it a bit. you can create exactly what kind of curves you want. One quick little tip, which last time I told everyone, they were like, wow, that's awesome, now I'm going to do that. Let's say you want to be really accurate, and let's say you want to like put a point exactly on the 8 bar. Now it can be quite difficult if you kind of have to hover around and click, because then when you zoom in, it's like, oh, it's not quite on exactly on 8. So if we zoom back out, what I personally do, if you press B, it turns on this pencil thing, and that allows us to simply draw in like exact chunks. And what it does is it draws it around these kind of whatever you call them, like quantization lines, which we can change by right clicking. So we can change it to 16ths, or it's already on 16ths, 32ths, or we can change it to, I think narrow is reasonably good. And that means if we want something to be, let's undo these, say exactly on 8, if we just make sure that one of these quantization lines is on 8, you click once this pencil tool's selected, and now this point here is exactly on the 8, and we can just get rid of the other ones. And now we've got a point exactly on 8. Pretty cool, right? So you pick up all these little things the more you use it, but that is basically how you automate stuff. Nice and easy. And you can also automate stuff in clips, so I'll show you that as well. Might as well. So we've got this clip, and we want to automate, I don't know, the volume. Let's go to see where, oh, there it is, the little clip thing over here. Click E for envelopes, and now we can choose what we want. So clip, let's say, I don't know, volume, nice and simple one. And then you can do the exact same stuff as we did previously, all the same shortcuts. And if I remember correctly, there's a bit of a trick to get something exactly on 0. Sometimes it'd be quite difficult to be that accurate because you see it's jumping. So let's say it's quite, see how we're trying to get it on 50, but we just can't. If you hold Command or CTRL, you can be more accurate. So that's another little tip. I'm full of useful stuff today. Yeah, that's automation. Have a play about with it. Again, the more you use it, the more it becomes second nature, and then you'll be like, why has he done such a basic video if you rewatch this video? Cool, I've been Multiplier, and this has been number 6. Let's do the next one.